Hey YouTube, this is React City. I'm Johnny.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nikki.
And this is the React Cast, number 11.
Nice.
So we got a pretty good fun fact from an older React City that I thought was really cool. It was when we were talking about Crunchyroll and how it had a terrible UI and stuff compared to pirate websites.
Yeah.
So Dognan had to say, fun fact, Crunchyroll actually used to be a pirate site for anime, and then it became legal when a company called Venrock invested over $4 million into them, which then set the stage for their transition from pirate to a legitimate streaming company years later.
Wow.
He then goes on to say it's mind-boggling that anime pirate sites have a better organized and more complementary UI than legal sites.
Yeah.
You'd think a multi-million-dollar company's website would look better and be more organized than the pirates run by one guy in his basement. But in general, I feel like that's a thing where a company gets so big that it's harder to succeed on the smaller stuff because there's so many layers to go through bureaucracy.
You know what it makes me compare it to? Moonshine.
Moonshine?
Moonshine.
What on earth do you know about moonshine?
Just what I see in passing.
Oh, okay.
No, there's a show. The guy made it though. That's the happy ending.
Oh, Tickle.
I think that was the one with the overalls.
Yeah, I think that's Tickle.
Yeah. So I remember Dad was telling me his story. Basically, he was the underground guy,
Yeah, I remember.
and he decided to go straight, but like everything went wrong. Like everything was expensive and everything was hard. And that's why the show was great because troubles. People love watching troubles.
Yeah.
But it was just showing like when he was a one-man band and he was doing this, underground whatever, he would make and bank.
Yeah.
But now that he was trying to go straight, it's like you have all the regulations, you have to follow code, you can't even get started unless everything is. So it's like you have all these things coming against you when you're trying to do the right thing. And I feel like that's probably what happened to Crunchyroll. Like they have to get all the staff, they have to pay employees properly, so you got to make sure you're covering all of the bases, all of the regulations, like dealing with hiring people and being legitimate. So I feel like they probably, and then on top of it, people are greedy, so who knows who's getting the money where,
Apparently, I was looking into it a little bit. Someone said that they got $4 million because apparently the Crunchyroll exit somehow knew like business connections. Like they just had that already, but they were just being a pirate website.
Wow.
So Forbes goes into detail and says they used to be a barely legitimate aggregator site that hosted translations and original anime without the licensing. So they were pirates.
Yeah.
But they were so popular that they're basically able to bring the people with money data showing them how much demand there was for this if someone just gave enough money to buy licensing.
Right. Okay.
It always comes down to connections. There's also a bit of somewhat sad news. One of the main animators for Code Geass has passed away. And so on June 10th, they will be having a little celebration and gathering. The directors will hold the talk after the episodes are screened. And so we might get some interesting information about the show in that. Or it might just be a memorial. They don't go into a lot of detail what it's going to be.
Okay. Wasn't there like something in the works for Code Geass? Or no? Am I thinking of the show?
There was, but we barely had any information on it at the time.
Okay.
So you have to recapture.
Yeah.
But nothing since then.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years. And COVID hit them 2020, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably everything went shut down.
Yeah, shows that were ongoing got shut down and slowed down. So I can imagine stuff that was still on the storyboard.
Started,
like, just drop it. Just drop it.
Forget it. Don't even try.
I hope that they still manage to do things the way they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, also, so I wanted to bring up, so a lot of the shows that we've been watching happen to be all finishing very soon.
At the same time.
Within like a week of each other.
Yes, within a week of each other.
Really?
3 of the shows end on the same week.
Which ones?
Demon Slayer has 2 episodes left. Akadama Drive, To Your Journey, and Vinland Saga all have 3 episodes left.
So it's confirmed that Demon Slayer is 11 episodes?
I'm going off the assumption that it is.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There have been rumors that it's going to be 11 episodes, but the more I look it up, the more official websites also say 11 episodes. So it's a leak, but at the same time, everybody's operating as it's true, and they have not corrected them. And generally speaking, you want to correct the audience if they think, I don't have to show up next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and also the show is gonna tell us, like, when we see that 11th episode, we'll be able to tell, like, this feels very final, or even a cliffhangery that we're not getting more for a while kind of way. Especially because spoilers up to this point, of course, we just killed the 5th.
the upper moon.
Right. Yeah.
That was crazy. It's like
it happened so like anticlimactically, as we pointed out in the episode.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how much time do we have left to invest in this other guy without making Five look like a chump?
Yeah.
If we got 10 more episodes of this guy.
Yeah.
That guy really sucked right there.
Yeah.
So we're on episode 9 of Demon Slayer and going to 11.
Yeah,
so it's just 2 more. So it makes sense the next one would probably be the end with love. The end of the 6th, what did he say? 4th?
4th.
End of 4th. And basically a wrap up and set up in the final episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really feels like this show has like 2 seasons left. What's Muzan gonna do?
Yeah. he has how many? He has like 3 people, and he's gonna. At this point, I don't see him like sending out. I guess he could still keep sending out, feeling like, no, I'm big and bad, my guys are bad. But he could also be like, I'm disappointed at all of you because you're failing and you're supposed to be the upper moons. Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna do this myself.
He's gonna go Thanos and be like, I'll do it myself. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't think he's a very go my underlings kind of guy.
True.
A part of me is wondering if we're gonna see a scaredy cat Muzan like freak out and just run away. Like completely ruin all the ambiance that he's been building up.
Yeah.
Because everyone describes him as a coward, which, I mean, he could just be tactical, but at the same time, he does seem like a spoiled brat a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. The way he treats things.
This is true. And the way his temper, like when he doesn't get what he wants.
Yeah.
When things aren't going his way.
When people call him sick.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's in frame. How long do you think it's going to be before the show's over? Do you feel like it's a couple of seasons left?
Yeah, I don't see it going past, like you said, 2 seasons. I'm thinking about the same. I don't see it, like, if at most 3 seasons and then it's absolutely done. I don't see how they unless he has, like, a hidden upper suns.
Upper suns.
Or he has, like...
The moons were the lower ones and now he has the suns.
Or he finds the blue lily.
Blue lily.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I can see them doing that in 2 seasons.
True. The way I was thinking about it, like, the way Demon Slayer runs, there's either it's done in 1 season, or Muzan has to pull something out of the bag in order for it to be 2 or 3 seasons. Like, I don't know how they could pull. There would have to be 1 upper moon per season.
But we just did 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I guess it makes sense that they could make it 1 because these are supposedly lower than the next one, so it makes sense that it'll be harder for the next ones.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited just to see Akaza fight, to be honest. I want to see him go all out.
Yeah. Last time he was kind of playing around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And got serious at the end.
People, speaking of the fights with the upper moon, some people were saying, like, Tengen really was just the weakest Ashura. it's like a little unfair, I feel like.
Especially since he started out poisoned.
Yeah,
like he fought that whole fight poisoned.
When did he get poisoned? Do you remember? I think
it was as Yutaro came out. He couldn't.
In the room when he first emerged.
Yeah.
Yes, he got
he comforted his sister and then did a thing.
Mm-hmm. And what's his name didn't avoid it because I don't think he suspected it.
I don't remember. All I remember is a broken room and being like, oh, he's poisoned.
Oh, yeah. I just also want to say Jujutsu Kaisen's coming on July 6th, and so is Rurouni Kenshin. So with these shows returning, we're also going to have, we definitely have room for 1 poll show. Mm-hmm. There's going to also be another open slot. I was thinking of catching a show that comes along, but I have been scanning the upcoming shows, and there doesn't really seem to be anything that screams both us and popular. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to keep my eye open for that. And I don't want to put something there just because I don't find anything. Yeah. Because it's happened before where something was there and I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Give us a chance.
Yeah. So give us some suggestion, guys, of animes you guys see that you think we'd like.
Yeah. Upcoming animes.
Yeah.
Like a month in advance.
Yeah.
This is also going to be coming out 2 weeks later, so keep that in mind. Yeah, Rurouni Kenshin is something that I'm really excited for. It's one of those shows that I've always wanted to see, and I just never got around to seeing it. It's basically a samurai who refuses to kill people. Oh. I think he might have been someone who was an assassin or something like that. I'm not sure. But basically, he turned his back on that way of doing things.
Mm-hmm. Is he like a pacifist now?
He beats people up. Like, he does a lot of the killing.
Just no killing. All right, that's not bad.
He's like Batman with a sword.
Okay. Like knock him out with the hilt instead of slashing their throat.
I think he uses a reverse style. Like he just hits you with the other side.
The backside of the blade. Cool. I've seen it a couple of times. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. We've seen a lot of shows recently that are along the lines of that. Anti-violence. Vinland Saga, we had a bit of that in Trigun.
Maybe that's the era's trend.
Of no violence, pacifism.
And speaking of era's trends, so Disney in recent times I've been seeing this meme of Disney villains have become increasingly about personal issues and stuff like that. And DreamWorks has gone over to the overarching evil force and stuff like that. In general, society seems to have gone towards a more understandable villain kind of thing. Why do you think that is? Because I've seen some people say that it might speak to the disillusionment of the people in general. Like we're kind of in an information age right now where we can learn more about conflicts in the past and how things weren't as justified as it was made out to be at the time. And so now society, people are like, well, maybe there were a reason why they did that thing, or maybe you're just saying that they're that bad because you have some interest in another way. A really cynical way of looking at it.
I think it's that just from a story perspective, entertainment perspective, is that growing up, the only villains we got were these guys are super bad, and you just hate the villains. Like the villains were just there to be hated, and the only characters you were interested in were the main characters. But then once the villain becomes interesting, the whole story becomes a little bit more interesting because now you have the interesting main character and an interesting villain. And then you have this whole. I mean, people were already doing it before, but like other people were like, "I want to be the villain in this story," like playing dolls or whatever, playing just in the backyard. Now people are like, "Oh, more interesting villains mean more interesting playtime."
Yes, I think it also has to do with the change in kind of the connection to political correctness and how people are more, I guess, aware of feelings of other people. You know what I mean? So it's like this is like more and maybe more empathetic or sympathetic even, and maybe trying to put that on everyone and everything. Because I kind of think about like it's kind of like maybe it could be good and it could be bad. Like you want to say, you know, people in the prisons, for example, people want to take away capital punishment, or there's a big argument. Is it, you know, right? Is it proper to do something like that? Because, you know, this person could have a change of heart. Are they really completely evil? And then there was a time, or there are still people that believe, no, you do a certain thing, you are an evil person now.
Pariah to society.
And you should not be redeemable. But that mindset has kind of changed over the years. And I feel that more people these days don't feel that way. So I think it's kind of coming into the art. It actually makes me think of when I was going to school. I think it was 8th grade. We were doing English literature, and they were talking about the era change or the writing change when it went from every story had a happy ending to every story had a terrible sad ending. And it was because of the mindset of the people as something was happening. I can't remember what period, what time this happened, but I hated those stories. There was this one, it was the name of the girl. I can't remember. There was the first one I had to read with that series of bad ending stories. And I was traumatized because I was into this character, and then she just like terrible tragic ending, the end, this is where we're ending. And the teacher was basically trying to show this is how the people were thinking at the time. They didn't like that people were trying to put a bow on everything, and that's not life, and they're trying to go into realism. So I feel like that is basically how art does.
We're doing it again.
We're doing it again. Except it's a little bit more of a it's not a terrible tragic ending now. People still want their happy ending. But it's this still like more of a he shouldn't get a happy ending. He needs to die. But we can at least understand him. Kind of thing, you know?
Like a semi-realistic happy ending.
Yes, it's kind of like it flew this way and it flew that way, and now it's kind of going like this.
I'm trying to have a bit of both.
And personally, I really like understandable villains. I think it makes it much more compelling when the person is more hardcore in doing the bad thing, but they have an understandable reason. It makes it so that sometimes I even want them to partially succeed. Like in Trigun, I didn't necessarily. Well, I didn't hate what's his name, Knives. I knew he had to lose. But I was really rooting for him to do a lot of damage. Yes. You know? Because he had a really good point for what he was saying.
Yes.
But that kind of thing I really enjoy in this New Age kind of stuff. What I don't like in the New Age writing is the dialogue, for the most part. There's a lot of there's been a lot of complaints recently about millennial writing. And it's kind of like, you see in the Marvel movies, everybody's like making quips and short jokes all the time. And no one takes anything seriously at all. The villain's always in some way a little bit of a joke, stuff like that. It's become extremely common. It's in video games now, in all the movies, TV shows. It's just the standard way of doing things.
Can I have an example?
Look at Star-Lord in Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. He's a pretty good character because he was at the very beginning of all of this, but he makes a joke of everything. He's not really serious himself, even though sometimes he looks cool. There's always something to deflate the moment for him. Imagine that kind of thing, but for everybody.
I think I understand from the Star-Lord example.
Because like even his like from the first movie, he meets the bad guy and he starts dancing. It's like, what are you doing? Stop that.
But you know what? I think because I haven't noticed this millennial trend. So when I saw at least Star-Lord, that one was just felt like, oh, that's just him. You know, that's just what's his name? Quinn.
Quinn.
Quinn. I got it right. Anyways, so I didn't really realize that Quill. I don't think it's Quinn. Quill.
Yeah, Quill.
Okay, it's close. But so I'm trying to think like other examples. If I'm thinking of the connection, maybe it's connected to the idea of how when the bad guy joins the good side, they become powerless. That kind of idea. Maybe that's kind of what's happening with the people. I don't know.
I keep trying to figure out what does Marvel have that DC doesn't have that would make DC heroes like more interesting.
A-list celebrities.
Well, there's Ben Affleck.
I think a big problem for them is they needed for a long time a strong singular vision, and they're only getting it now, and so everything's getting thrown out for something new that's untested, and so it's going to alienate a lot of fans. Like you've heard, the director for the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is now going to be in charge of all the new DC movies. They basically threw out everybody, like Henry Cavill's out as Spider-Man, as Batman, as Superman.
Henry Cavill!
He's out. Ben Affleck's going to be out pretty soon, I believe. Pretty much everybody's going to be out. They're not sure, but they think Wonder Woman might also be out, but they're just not saying it yet. Because he wants a younger group of people so that he can kind of carry
him for a long time. Yeah.
I thought Ben Affleck was a mistake from the beginning, not because he didn't look it or couldn't act. I just thought, if you're starting a series, why would you start with an actor who's already older, and then you start off with Batman versus Superman? You know, something that's supposed to have a lot of emotional weight because these two have been friends for years. You know, it just didn't make more sense to me.
The emotional Spider-Man.
Which Spider-Man isn't emotional Spider-Man?
He's the crying one.
Toby Maguire has
Toby's the crying one? No, he's the feeling ones, isn't he? The feeling.
He's the feeling guy.
Yeah, it's funny. He didn't. I mean, he did cry a couple of times in the movies, but it really wasn't that much more than the other Spider-Man. But he got the reputation for it for some reason. I feel like it might just be because how expressive his face was.
Yeah, I was gonna say very impactful acting. Convincing.
I think the people who are closer to him died more than in the other Spider-Man movie. Whereas it was people that Peter knew of in the other movies, but it was people that he knew in his movies, in Garfield's movies.
Yeah. That's true.
Gwen's dad. Spoilers if you haven't seen it.
Wow.
Whoops.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how in Amazing Spider-Man they went with the whole Gwen thing. At first, when I first heard about that, I was annoyed because I never knew for the longest time that Gwen was the first love of Spider-Man. I always thought it was Mary Jane from the beginning.
Me too.
But no, it's just she got more popular as she came after.
Wow. I remember the first Spider-Man that I ever watched was the animated one where it was Mary Jane and there was this jock guy. Oh no, I think
Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson.
I don't remember, but there was something going on with him, but I think he liked Mary Jane or something like that. But they were at high school. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember. I can't tell you much more about it. I just have this vague scene in my mind.
I think you're talking about the Spectacular Spider-Man TV show.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know all the names.
I think it was because I remember you seeing it. And then I started watching it, I think because you were watching it, and then I watched the whole thing. Mm. It was really, really good. It's one of the best animated
shows. I had really liked it. Oh, I think I saw the Venom in that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in Venom.
And
he was in Venom. Venom was in it.
Yeah. But do you know, every time I think of seeing Venom in that show, I was like,
Really? You really like Venom?
I loved Venom. I loved Spider-Man as Venom. I don't know, it just gives me these in my stomach. It's weird. But that's why the latest Venom scared me. I didn't want to watch it because it's going to ruin my childhood memory.
Well, you watched the one with Tobey Maguire.
I didn't like that one either.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't like that one.
You didn't like his dancing?
No.
His pointing?
You know, actually, I actually repressed the memories of the dancing. I only see those afterwards when everybody memed it. Like, I just remember it being, okay, this is kind of weird, but okay, let's pass by now.
Yeah, it was very odd.
Yeah.
What about Venom did you like so much in that one that you didn't like in the movie?
Well, what I remember of it was it made him stronger and kind of like, I liked his attitude. Like, he was a little, like, an attitude there, but it was edgier. It was edgy, yeah, and it wasn't cringe.
Would you have been able to recognize cringe at the time?
It's a good
How
question.
old were you?
I was young. It's a good question. I don't know. I really loved, and when it went away, I was like, oh man. But then I remember it ended with it was like there still, like.
Yeah.
I was like.
The symbiote never dies. Like in all of the media, actually, we've never seen the symbiote die.
No.
Well, they can't kill a villain, you know.
They're pretty insane. You ever hear about from the comics where they come from and what they are?
No. There's more than one?
I mean, we knew that they were an alien thing. It's a planet. Like, there's a planet full of venom symbiotes, and they exist by coexisting with other species. And for some reason, they're also spider-themed on that planet. But they came across Peter, and because of his spider DNA, he was extra compatible. So all the symbiotes kind of love him, and they want to take him. But they'll take the next best thing, which is why they will Flash and other people. But there's a lot of them in the comics now.
I didn't know Carnage was an actual symbiote. I thought he was just... I thought he was like a Hulk version.
Oh no, Venom's closer to the Hulk one.
Oh, really?
Carnage is mostly a psychopathic serial killer symbiote.
Oh.
Yeah, the guy was a murderer, and then he got a symbiote.
Wow, they somebody take care of that one.
Somebody wanted to play out their dreams.
I'll show you an image of him here.
I know he was red.
Cletus, that's the guy who got it.
Cletus. Of course, some axe murderer in Texas is named Cletus.
Yeah, Carnage was always the scary one, because with Venom, he just comes up to you and starts a fight like anyone else. But this guy's scary. Like, he hunts inside of the shadows, he follows you along, he rips people apart, he just leaves gore everywhere.
Oh my god.
Much scarier.
Yeah.
The many hosts of Carnage. The many hosts. So that means Carnage is the name of the symbiote?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So Venom is the name of the symbiote?
Yeah.
I did not know these symbiotes had names. They have naming convention.
What did you think he called it Venom for then?
I thought it was just...
I thought remember. This was
the person who got taken over was like, you know what? I'm so cool. I need a name as my alternate ego. I am Venom.
Yeah.
That one's just straight up Eddie Brock.
No, that's his host.
Yeah, that's the host. I don't know if I put it there. But yeah, look, there's Venom, Carnage, Anti-Venom, Lasher, Hybrid, Crowbar. Yeah, bunch of them. If I recall, Anti-Venom might be one of the strongest right now. And Venom, they in the comics, at one point, they basically lobotomize it, and Flash becomes a Secret Service agent for the S.H.I.E.L.D.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you lobotomize an amorphic creature? No, that still wouldn't work.
I know, because it's still just...
It's like, maybe it's just playing. It's like, somebody takes a knife to it, is like, what are you doing? you know this won't work.
So at this point, I think it's time to head on over to Rose Rant unless you have something else to say about this.
I just wanted to bring up my favorite series because you were talking about your favorite Spider-Man series. It reminded me of my favorite Spider-Man series, which was the Ultimate Spider-Man series, which is like one of the most uncanon Spider-Man series I've ever watched. Because it has like, it takes in like 4 other superheroes as teenagers. I think there's White Tigress, not Luke Cage. I think they call him Power Fist. Power Man in that one, although he's totally Luke Cage.
No, his name is Luke Cage in the show.
Yeah, just call him Power Man. Okay. And then there's also Iron Fist and Nova. And for some reason, that was like just the best series I've ever watched. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually like superheroes again. At the time, I was just like kind of done with superheroes. Yeah. And especially Spider-Man, because I watched like all of the Spider-Man series.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long ago did you watch this version?
Oh, it was years ago. It was Disney XD days.
2012.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember really liking them too, but something weird happened where they got revamped and the art style wasn't the same and the plot just wasn't the same. And also that happened, the same thing happened to the Avengers. Remember the Avengers TV show?
Yeah.
That show was great.
It was fantastic.
And then they redid it and it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
That means it was a new director who spit on the old one and he was like, I'm going to give you good because you don't know what good is. And then nobody was like, I think you don't know what good is too. I'm out.
Yeah, that's also when they came out with the Avengers, I think it's called Next Generation movie, where it's like a what if all of the Avengers had kids. But at the same time the world got taken over, I think it's by Ultron.
Ultron killed everybody.
And so the world is also dystopian, but the Avengers themselves died fighting them. So the Vision is now taking raising
all their kids.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Was it? I thought it was Tony Stark.
It was the Vision.
It was Vision?
It was the Vision and one other person. No, Tony might have been a part of that.
I remember Tony because I remember him feeling guilty about the way he raised them. Because I think he wanted to raise them the way they would have been raised by their parents. And so he thought he didn't do a good job or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I could see him overdoing things.
The Hulk still survived, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
He made an appearance in that movie.
I think he was...
He was off in the desert somewhere, just being Hulk.
Yeah, I think he straight up just won the fight in the end. He just showed up.
He beat Ultron? Oh my god.
Eventually he just came and beat the hell out of Ultron and left him. But yeah, I remember the pairings were weird because Captain America had a kid with Black Widow.
Yes. And then it was Hawkeye had a kid with somebody who was unnamed. Wakanda, what's his name? T'Challa, yeah, Black Panther had a kid with his princess. Who else was there?
How old is this show? This is also old.
Years, yeah. Wow. It was very fun to watch though. I really liked all of the characters.
2008. Yeah, there they are.
Oh yeah, Thor had a kid. His daughter, and then Wasp. Yeah, the Wasp and the Ant had a kid. I forgot what they called him. He was the youngest, I think.
Is that... What's his name?
That's Hulk in the background.
That's Hulk.
There's Tony.
He's got hair on his chin?
Yeah, because he's old.
Oh.
Because he survived.
Right, and he never changed back, so he's probably just aging.
They did find Betty.
Who's Betty?
His love interest, Betty. Hulk's love interest.
Yeah, I don't know her name.
Betty.
It's Betty.
It's Betty.
Okay. It's Betty.
And then they reunited because it's been years and years since they've seen each other, and they're both old and gray. And she's like, "Let's go, Hulk!" And then he takes her and he jumps off into the desert somewhere. So they're just living together happily, which is
gonna have Hulk babies.
She's too old for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Hulk never has a happy ending in any of the jump forward comics or TV shows or anything. It's always really sad.
Yeah.
One of them was super messed up where it was thousands of years into the future where everybody was dead from just infighting or whatever in time, and it was just Hulk wandering the earth with Banner. Every time he swapped to Banner, Banner's just basically pleading with Hulk to let him die. Because every time he nearly dies of old age, Hulk swaps over and takes back over. And there's this horde of beetle bugs, machines or whatever, that self-replicate, and they come and they eat him for hours and then they leave. He's a source of food for them.
Oh my gosh, that's so messed up.
Yeah. And there's just a robot that's following him, recording everything, because apparently the Kree just sent a bot to see when he dies, because they just want to have a celebration. Because they want to know when the last human dies.
Yeah. That messed up. I guess there's someone suffering worse than Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Spider-Man just usually has a typical tragic ending. Just like, oh no, he's died. Sadness. Mm-hmm. He usually gets celebrated in the end. He doesn't get eaten by beetles for hours on end.
But Hulk is like, let's see what we can come up with.
He is suffering in the color green.
Actually, now I'm thinking about it, Hulk is one of the examples that would be a casualty of the New Age writing. Because in the movies, Hulk doesn't have any of that tragedy that made him famous in the comic books. Like, he's just a very peppy person now. Mm-hmm. He mastered the Hulk problem, and that thing that was for earlier years like just constantly a persistent problem is completely gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He actually nearly had a movie as well that got scrapped, so that might have played a part in the whole Hulk combining with the Professor kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But
I honestly feel like that, for me personally, kind of ruined the whole character of Hulk. Like, that's literally his only problem in life, is the fact that he can't control the Hulk.
Yeah, and then that's gone.
Yes. Like, he has no persistent enemies.
No, that's true.
That's something that I want them to explore, because like initially, yes, that is his only problem. But through trying to control the Hulk, in the comics, it's supposed to start to dissect his own psyche and his character. The deeper you go, is the more he finds out that the Hulk was kind of always in him, because he has like an inner rage from his father was very abusive growing up and the way he was treated, and he always kind of had that hatred that he suppressed. And so the story was really about a person who's suppressing the pain within themselves, and then the Hulk just forced that out of him, kind of like it was a commentary on society kind of thing. And he also kind of had like a split personality possibly when he was a kid, sort of became the shell for the Hulk as he grew up when he got hit with the gamma rays. So there's a lot of trauma and stuff that he could have gone into, but it was so dark and serious that it would not fit with everybody else. Yeah, so you had a show that you saw that you wanted.
Yeah, I recently watched this Korean movie called Tazza, The Hidden Card, and I really enjoyed this movie. It kind of moved a little bit fast for my taste, but I guess it was a lot to get into.
Yeah, as a movie.
So it's about this card game. Kind of reminds me of like a Korean poker. People gamble on it. And there's this kid, he grows up always hustling people. Masters this game, and then he joins this like gambling ring. And of course that gets him into some trouble because it's a whole ring of hustlers, so they end up hustling each other at some point. And from that, a whole slew of events with his a love interest and all of that stuff, other stuff happens, and eventually he has to win back something. Not entire. I don't remember what it is. Actually.
Okay.
No, he doesn't have to win back something. He has to win the right to kill this other guy that he really wants to kill.
Okay.
Because that guy ended up hurting his love interest.
Okay.
But it was a really fun and interesting journey of like how to get there, because he has like a mentor. He ends up getting hustled in the movie, so he hits rock bottom, and then he has this mentor of this guy who's also like a hustler, but he's such a hidden hustler that nobody knows he's a hustler. So he's not a part of any gambling rings or anything. He's just like a neighborhood hustler, I guess you call him.
Hustler. You said hustler a lot.
Yeah, well, that's the word they use. That's the only word they use.
Like Akadama over here.
Yeah, Akadama.
But yeah, I enjoyed like every character in it, and afterwards I searched it up, and apparently there is a previous movie of that the mentor that he meets there is in the previous movie.
Oh.
It's like it's a much older movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's like if I had watched that, I would have been like,
I know that guy. So that's probably how everybody else was seeing it.
And I think there is, excuse me, I think there's also a newer sequel, and I don't know which characters they might have brought over from the one that I watched. So I'm excited to get into this trilogy.
Yeah, I love that. I used to come across shows or books and stuff like that back in the day where it's like, oh, this is great. Turns out there's a whole series. It's one of the most pleasant surprises you can come across.
Yes. I like that, but when there's not too many series. Because I that happened to me once where I'm like, ooh, there's 11 books in this series. And now I have to read them all.
I love it, dude.
The choice is gone from me.
No, it's great because you start a book and it's like, this is great.
You just want to keep going.
Yeah.
You don't understand the way that I consume content.
I know.
Yeah.
It's literally the only thing that I can do.
Okay.
Until I have completed my mission.
Yeah, she can't control
That kind of ruins it for you. So.
Yes. I mean, after each book, I'm like, oh, that was great. Great. But
Don't do that.
You gotta work on some self-control, girl.
Don't do that.
this is why I can only binge watch shows. I can't tell you the amount I suffer watching shows week by week on this channel.
Wow. And
like, I need it now.
You need to think of it as a training ground. Yeah. You're practicing your self-control. And you can only watch one episode, and that is all. Yes.
No.
I mean,
what's weird is that like my patience for this kind of stuff is so like not consistent. Cause for like books and TV shows, I need to binge it. But if I'm playing like a game that's like watch this ad or whatever or microtransactions, I'm like, I will never do any of these things. I will spend the next 20 years to get what somebody can buy in one click. And I will be happy with that.
I mean, yeah, you can't even just tomorrow I'll do one chapter. Like
one chapter a day.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's a decent amount that'll take you to like 30 minutes to get through? How many chapters?
30 minutes?
30 minutes.
30 minutes is not enough time.
How much would you get through?
I need...
No, how much?
It needs to consume me. You don't understand.
No, I do understand.
You don't.
I'm saying there's 100 chapters. How many in half an hour would you get through? In half an hour?
In half an hour, I could probably get through like 1 or 2 chapters.
Okay.
But it's the only thing on my mind. Even when I'm not I go to work, and all I'm waiting for is to get home and read this book. I stop and I go to eat my dinner. The only thing I'm thinking about is when I can go back and read my book.
Yeah. Wait till tomorrow.
But then I go to sleep and my head is on the pillow. And I'm like, I can't wait to read that book.
Yes. You look forward to reading it tomorrow. No. Because, dude, I mean, it helped me a lot, I guess, with books. Because when I started reading, like, the Alex Rider series, they were physical books. So I had the ones at the library that I have to go down to the library, borrow it, come back. So I had to have patience, right? And then also, you can't read a whole book no matter how hard you try in one day. So it would take me, like, 3 days. I guess you could read it faster if you tried. But I'm trying to, like, say, I'm reading this to enjoy it. So I'm not, like, binging it. But after I do finish it, and there's no more at the library, I have to order one off Amazon, or I have to wait for my birthday to get another book or something like that, you know. And so over time I learned spacing and waiting and stuff like that. And now I have books that I read when I only go to the poop.
Only go to the poop.
Yeah. I have like 3 books right now that I'm only like 2 chapters in because I got them all at the same time, and the time to read them doesn't really come off. So I'm like, yeah, I could go for reading that now when I go to the bathroom, and so I go do that. I know that's much slower paced than the stuff that you read, which is drama, so it's more action oriented, so you gotta go see it now. But really, you gotta try spacing it, because right now you sound like you're just a slave to the content.
Yeah, slave.
It honestly sounds like that.
Break free, girl. Break free.
It dominates your thoughts.
I won't say that I'm not.
I know you won't, because it's obvious, right? But
we might have to stage an intervention one of these days.
I do get the feeling, though, of finding something you really like and just consuming it nonstop.
My one connection that I can make to that was when I was reading Twilight. And I was that's the only book that's ever consumed me. And I was on the second book, I think, and I was staying in New York at the time because I was going to college. Yeah. And it was like the next day I had an exam, and I was like 30-some pages away from the end. I was like, I can do it. I can finish. My grandmother was like, go to bed, Dominic.
I understand that.
I was literally like, I had to go to bed, but then I was walking out the door. I was trying to like read while walking. Going outside because like I was fully ready to walk to the bus stop reading this book.
I understand that. I've done that going to the car. I'm like going down the stairs. I had like white knuckling the railing going down the stairs.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
But you see, if you know there's 30 pages incoming, Like, you gotta plan your day. Like, if I sit down to finish a book, I know I have the next 2 hours to finish this book. You know, I'm not starting to read the final chapters 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock when I gotta go to sleep and tomorrow's exam. You stop reading because you want to finish it.
Yeah, but you don't. The thing is, you don't pay attention.
You want it now.
I'm only telling you in retrospect how many pages. I was not paying attention. I just bumped into a really amazing scene, and I was like, I have to see how this. Let me just read the. I just want to see. Oh my gosh, another cliffhanger. Let me just see what happens.
That's what keeps happening.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is addiction is real. Please call the helpline.
She's addicted to reading, people.
There's actually something that I saw as well that I wanted to tell you guys about. So I watched all of Jon Mulaney's comedy specials.
I love that guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised you knew him, but I guess, okay, cool. Yeah, he's very popular. I hadn't really known about him before. And I started watching his comedy because I was looking up Bill Burr comedy just to see what his new special is out. That's the worst thing, being a fan of a comedian.
Yeah.
Because they take years to make it a special.
Yeah.
And I saw all of his, and I saw all of Ali Sadiq's, who's a new comedian.
I don't recognize his name. I don't think I've heard any of his things.
He's more of a storyteller than a traditional comedian. He sits down and he tells a really interesting story that you want to hear. Kind of like, I don't know, your parent comes home and they have a crazy day kind of thing. Yeah, true stories, most of them. And I also enjoyed watching all of Dave Chappelle's comedies. So I was like, I've seen everything that I thought was the greatest because everybody talked about these guys. I gotta find something else because I want something else going on the screen while I do this. And so I found him and I watched him. And dude, apparently he has a reputation for appearing to be family friendly. But dude, the amount of cursing and swearing he does, I was just like, I can see it though.
See, you know why? He has a baby face.
Yeah. And he's wearing a suit.
He looks so professional. Surely he's safe. No.
Yeah, he looks presentable. He looks and sounds professional. He's got the zany voice of the 1920s.
That I was gonna say that he's from and back in the day, people like that on TV. They don't curse.
Yeah.
So it's like you hear, oh, okay, that's where we're going.
Yeah, and it's just like, at the same time, while I enjoyed it, it wasn't. It's the weirdest thing because when you sit down to watch a comedian, sometimes you gotta put yourself in the mood of laughing. Of like, okay, I'm here to see this and enjoy it, not impress me, you want to do with movies and stuff like that, you know. So there was a lot of times I wasn't belly laughing or anything, but at the same time, it was entertaining the entire time. So I went back and watched his old stuff. I watched it in reverse. I watched his newest, and then went back and I could see the degradation of the quality. Not to say that it was bad.
Yeah, but you could see he was improving.
Yeah, it wasn't as smooth and stuff like that. And also, it was kind of sad seeing how in the newest ones he was talking about how he was divorced, and then go back how he has a fiance, like how his greatest girlfriend, how he really likes her.
I didn't know he got divorced. The last ones I saw of him, he was talking about the engaged. They were married, but he was talking about how he proposed. That was the last story I got from him.
I don't even remember that story, so I probably missed one.
Yeah.
But yeah, really interesting guy, but at the same time, I can see why there are levels to this comedian thing, because while he was good, I still do separate people like Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle away from him, because everything with those guys I find hilarious.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not laughing, sometimes just be like, wow, that was hilarious. You know, that kind of
thing. Yeah.
Whereas with him, it's like, that's a really good story. That's really interesting. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I saw and heard all of that. It wasn't the greatest ever.
Yeah. He and Bill Burr did this show together.
Did they?
Yeah. I never watched it, but it's like a live thing that they did. And I forgot. I can't even. They dress up like old people.
Oh, okay.
I have he has this record of some of his comedy that you can purchase, like a record,
a vinyl,
and it's like I have that in my wish list. Like I'm gonna get that one day.
Oh.
It's called Comeback Kid.
Oh, I saw that special.
Yeah. Oh, you saw that one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, but yeah, in general, just saying, that's what I saw. It's pretty good. Watch it.
I think he was the one that, I think he either was or still is the main writer for SNL skits.
Oh.
He was. I don't think he still is. He went back to be on SNL a couple times, and he talks about that a lot. Yeah.
Also, he was Spider Pig in the animated TV show.
Oh, the voice!
Yes!
The voice!
Yes.
That makes sense. I can see it.
Yeah. And people were saying that his voice sounds so family friendly, they put him in a Disney movie. He can't escape.
It happened.
But yeah, that's everything I've got. Unless you guys got something else here.
No, I think that's everything I have.
Same.
All right. Well, guys, thank you guys very much for being here. Guys, if you like your time here, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Remember, you can see the Patreon if you want to see these 2 weeks ahead, and you can also leave your own thoughts down in the comment section. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the city. Goodbye.
Bye.